This is my prized possession, a 2009 BMW 335i powered by the N54. A car that has single-handedly caused me to grow gray hair over the years, no matter how much money I put into it. I ran a setup on the car for 3 years that yielded over 700 wheel horsepower. Of course, not the smartest thing on a stock motor, but honestly, it took it like a champ. I got a ton of fun out of the car, and as expected, I blew the motor. No surprise there. I figured I'd get another stock motor, but this time with lower mileage and get another 3+ years. Well, at least that was the plan. We put a 50,000 mile motor into the car, a new turbo setup, new clutch, and other upgrades. The car lasted maybe 200 miles and I spun the crank hub. No compression in all cylinders. The combination of the same tune and a healthier motor just made things run way too good. I told myself I would not touch this car for a while and put it in the corner of our shop. But somebody has an urge to tickle the car.
He's got the tickle.
And here we are, yet again, testing our luck, which I really didn't want to do.
What you about to do, boy?
Look at it, and just keep looking at it, and then maybe it'll fix itself.
That sounds like progress to me.
Here we are, taking apart yet again, but this time to remove the head so we can further look into what really happened when I spun the crank hub, and see if the motor is savable. Alright, so we went ahead and pulled the head off. If you take a closer look, you can actually see the marks when they made contact. Top left right here, right there, right there, 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 there. Yeah, so they all touched. My biggest concern was the condition of the pistons, but for the most part they seem fine. They do have very light markings on each piston from the valves, but I think the bottom side is pretty much good. I'll need to start taking the head apart. I think the idea here is take it to a shop so we can get the head machined. Throw in a new head gasket, new head studs, do the crank hub, and new valve stems, and new valves. And everything's gonna work as intended, right?
Yeah, pray to Jesus.
Ah.
Alright guys, so instead of taking this head to the machine shop, we're gonna skip that part. I'll show you how to fix the valves. Easy, cheap, fast way. So you take a hammer, this identifies as a hammer, and you just, slap this valve until it straightens.
You didn't say there was somebody on YouTube that did that?
Yes. I'm around. Don't be an idiot.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we're just gonna replace all of them, aka intake and exhaust.
Yes.
And clean the head.
Anyways, we got the head back from the machine shop. As you guys can see here,
Resurfaced.
very shiny.
Very shine.
The valves have been replaced, and they're nice and seated how they're supposed to be, not like. So,
we got a new head gasket from BMW, but this is actually a thicker head gasket because we are trying to drop compression to run more boost.
Yes! I guess at no surprise, we opted in for the ARP head studs.
Yeah, so we got the large ones and the small ones.
And
This is me, this is Ali. Oh, blur that.
head gasket installed. Not rocket science.
I might as well address it because I could already see the comment section if we're already doing all of this.
Oh, why don't you replace the
Why are we not building the motor?
why don't you just leave the block?
Why aren't we doing the pistons? Why aren't we doing the rods? Why aren't we doing a closed deck design?
We're going
Honestly,
for a stock motor record.
Yeah, we're going for a stock motor record. Yeah, sure. It's more so we don't have a ton of time. This is the path of least resistance. It's just doing this. It's a low mile motor with 50,000 miles. We do the crank hub, we keep the tune clean. Assuming that the install goes as planned, then I think we should be fine. That said, a built engine is still in the horizon. The conversation I've had with the company that's working with me, but they've kind of gone silent recently, so I'm trying to pick that conversation back up, and if we do, then we might get to that point. But at the moment, this is not a car I want to put more money into, and I just want to make enough power so I can make some juicy content for
35 PSI.
for my guys.
35 pounds on stock motor, what's good?
So, hoping for the best. Let's get this head on to the block.
This is gonna be the Jess 900 package.
Aha! Yes!
Before we continue, do you see that white device in the background of our video? Yeah, that's the biggest lifesaver ever when it comes to working on cars. I'm sure many of you guys can relate. Working on cars at a shop or garage while sweating profoundly sucks really bad. We here at Vehicle Rivals have been struggling with this for years, filming content with the hot and humid Florida heat. Well, no longer is that the case, thanks to today's video sponsor, Mr. Cool. We have here 3 of Mr. Cool's 36K BTU single zone ductless mini splits. And the best part, these are DIY kits. You get the indoor unit head, the condenser, and all the accessories needed for the install like the mounting bracket, the install tools, the pre-charge quick connect 25-foot lines, a remote, a dongle for the mobile app, and everything else. The installation is beyond easy. Prep the indoor unit by attaching the lines. Use a included template to mock up where the unit bracket will go and also where you will drill the hole for the lines to route through. Then all you have to do is mount the bracket, attach the indoor unit to it, route the lines to where you'll be installing the condenser, and after that all you have to do is attach everything according to the instructions. After tightening the lines and hooking up the power, you're ready to enjoy some amazing AC. Just one unit alone did wonders. Once we had all 3 units installed, I swear, we have been in heaven ever since. The mobile app is the cherry on top. You're able to control the behavior of all the units at once. You can create a schedule like we did, filter through some eco-friendly options, check the history, and even the filter status. As far as reliability, Mr. Cool offers an industry-leading warranty for a peace of mind. It's pretty unreal. So come on, quit sweating while working indoors without AC. Go get a Mr. Cool DIY setup and make working on cars a lot more enjoyable. Check them out at mrcool.com or click down at the link down in the video's description. A massive thanks to Mr. Cool for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the E90.
Oh man, that was so tight. Dude.
Wow. It did it back out.
N54.
It did it back out, dog. We originally thought the friction disc just kind of, didn't friction. But no, the bolt definitely backed out.
To ensure I don't spin the crank hub again, we have an upgraded setup from Insane Performance. One of the leaders for crank hub solutions for these cars, and especially the S55 found on the F80 M3 and the F82 M4. Unlike the factory crank hub that uses friction disc and a super tight crank bolt to keep the setup together, this is a one-piece solution which you can either get in 2-pin or an upgraded 4-pin, which is pretty much guaranteed not to spin. You legit get everything you need to do this job. The crank hub itself, the template, the drill tool, upgraded and reinforced crankshaft, damper bolts, and an OEM crank bolt. We do sell these on the website at vehiclerivals.com if you're interested in bulletproofing your crank hub setup. I will leave a link down in the video's description. Kind of hard to see with the footage we have going on here because of the tight space, but in a nutshell, Ali was using a template and then included a drill bit to make 2 holes on the crank, which would be used to install the 2-pin crank hub.
We're about to do the first start on the E90 and hopefully it does not blow up. Let's go! I almost had a heart attack. He forgot to reconnect the fuel pump, which we disconnected before. Oh, wait! This? Yeah. I did tighten it. No.
Oh my god. We've got another offender.
Oh my god. I did tighten that one. You always say the same shit. It's always not tightened.
Wow.
We're gonna try this millions and millions and millions of times.
Oh yeah! He's alive!
Yes! And we're going back to the E90 content once again.
More E90 content, hey? Yeah, well, I spoke too soon.
So the last clip, we were very excited, right? The car was running, took it for a drive, hit 30 pounds of boost,
But it was smoking a lot. Initially we thought that was normal, whatever. Just installed the head, going through some sort of a braking stage or something like that. And then it continued to smoke. It never stopped. And it got worse, like a lot of smoke. So off camera, we decided to do a bunch of stuff to see what the was going on. I guess this kind of speaks for itself. We don't really need to say anything.
That's oil just sitting on top of the piston.
Now we're in cylinder 3. Oil just sitting there.
Only on 2 cylinders. I think the piston rings, or the oil control ring, left the chat when the pistons smacked the valves. So, built motor, here we come.
Yes.
Nice smoke. We were taking things apart so we could drop the motor and, you know, do all the bullshit we don't want to do. And then we took the intake manifold off so we could take a look at the valves and notice something very, very interesting. And we have these veteran expert mechanics to explain what the f going on. Well, he's not quite the veteran yet, but
I'm a 4-year veteran, all right?
So, the dumbassery strikes again.
It's truly the vehicle viral's way.
So we used RTV to seal the gasket. Well, the reason why is because
we wanted to get the car running yesterday. We didn't want to wait for it.
So I just blobbed on a bunch of RTV all around, and this car never had the head port block off installed. Ta-da!
And now we have the head port block off.
He took plugs.
So we swapped in the low mileage motor and didn't do it because the VTT valve cover is kind of designed in a way where it blocks off the head ports.
So they do recommend you to do it, obviously, to block off the head port so the gasket doesn't do all the work. Yes.
It actually says it in the description of the product.
In truth, technically that's correct because the gasket goes around the head ports, but in our case, the gasket was kind of flat. He did RTV around the head ports, and there was definitely RTV in the head ports, but that clearly was not
So basically, the theory is that when the oil gets hot and the car gets up to temp, the oil passes through the gasket that's and it goes into the cylinders, cylinder 3 and 6, and it's going on top of the valves, which is why there's oil in here. Cylinder 6 was the worst because it had oil on top of the valve, and the spark plug on 3 and 6 were all black. And we swapped spark plugs from one cylinder to another, and it was the same result. So our theory is head port block off fixes this issue, and we get to not pull the motor out.
That would be good if that's true.
That is not 100% true. That is not 100% correct.
It's not a fact.
We're just getting excited because we're hoping that's it.
Because if not, we're gonna go fully built motor at that point.
Which is probably what everybody wants, but we don't.
Yeah, well, we definitely hit 30 pounds of boost last night, and the car wants to go. And it shows no signs whatsoever of low compression, low anything at that point. I would say absolutely perfect. It just smokes. I said let's just take it to a drag strip and do some glory passes, but nobody wants to do that.
No. You wanted to burn off all the residue.
Lose 3 quarts on 1 pull.
Don't be a dumbass. That's pretty much where we're at.
Follow instructions, guys.
Follow instructions.
No shortcuts. That's the rule. We've all learned this recently. Do it right the first time so you don't have to do it again.
All right, guys, so we have a fresh gasket for the valve cover, and we went ahead and blocked off the head ports. Hopefully that fixes the smoking issue. Fingers crossed. Unfortunately, blocking off the head ports did absolutely nothing. The car was still smoking, like a lot. Now we started to question the work from the machine shop that we used. Were the valve stem seals installed correctly? I mean, we were running out of things to blame here. And this whole process had me aging very quickly. Believe it or not, we went ahead and redid the valve stem seals. But this time, we did it ourselves to ensure that everything was done correctly. We also noticed something very weird when adding pressure to cylinder 6, something that was happening on the intake valves. Take a look and listen. Ali's over here manually turning the motor.
A lot of wet farts going on, dude.
The best comparison you can make, a wet fart sound. The weird thing is that's only coming from cylinder 6. The only thing to do now was to pull the motor. The issue had to be the piston rings. Like at this point, everything we tried didn't improve the situation. After removing the cylinder 6 piston and rod, we focused on the O-rings, and honestly, we couldn't see anything wrong with them. And just like that, the issue we have been chasing for weeks presented itself right in front of our faces.
Why it look like a banana? Why it do this? Why it do that? Hey, so how many valves made contact with pistons?
Yes.
All of them.
Sick.
That's what they're talking about. So since
See, see right there, that middle part, like exactly where it was jammed up against the wall.
Yeah, right. Riding on it.
I laid out all the rods on the floor, and here's what they all look like. More than half of them were
Looks like an S. I can see that one for sure. This one's definitely curved. This oil control ring is good. Compression ring is good. Compression ring, another one is good. Piston looks good. The rod doesn't look so good, you know.
Well, guys, built motor, here we come.